Hey everyone, it's Andrew. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a video doing an unboxing and initial review of the 5th generation iPad Air in the 256 gigabyte size, which is this iPad right here. I recently purchased this actually through a colleague at work because I was looking at different options for e-readers. Played initially with the idea of getting a Kindle because I have a ton of books and they just take up a lot of space. So I was going to try to purchase something cheaper like a Kindle just to kind of experiment with using e-readers and e-books as compared to traditional paper books because I really like reading paper and really never have used an e-reader. But what I found was a lot of the textbooks and books that I need for work purposes really do not come in the Kindle version. And so I felt like an iPad would be a better option. And so I initially went to Apple, looked at the different options that are currently new models at this time, which is the 10th generation iPad, which is the A14 processor, which is about 350 bucks, but is about this size. They also have the iPad Air with the M2 MacBook chip, but that comes out at about like $750, which is pretty expensive. And then lastly, you have the iPad Pro, which is even more expensive at almost $1,000. And so looking at the different models, price-wise, just for getting into e-readers, I could consider the iPad, but I just didn't like the features, thought it was a little bit too low. However, the new M2 iPad Air, I really like the size and feel of it, but I really couldn't justify spending $750. So conveniently, I found my friend that actually had this iPad brand new. It's never been opened, and purchased that for $400. So it's a little bit outdated. It has an M1 MacBook Pro chip, or M1 chip as compared to the M2 chip. But at $400, that's a very reasonable price. A lot of the ones out there right now, you can get for like refurbished or like fixed up for about that price at $400. And so what we'll do is we'll go through opening this. Initially, we'll go over the features, the specs of this. Then in separate videos, I will go over different accessories. So this is going to be the Magic Keyboard that pairs with this iPad, and then also the pencil that comes with it as well. But I'll do those in separate videos just to make sure that it's more concise for this. But this is the packaging for the 5th generation iPad Air. This is going to be the space gray version. It's all vacuum packed, says iPad Air on the side here. On the back here, hopefully you can read this, but basically it says iPad Air 5th generation. This is the 256 gigabyte size. It'll have the iPad, it'll have a USB-C charger, and then a power adapter. And that's really all that should come in the box, plus I think a user manual. It'll be the space gray version. And that's really everything as far as the actual outside packaging. Now we'll get this open. It's got this peel tab here, which basically peels off all the outside, which is pretty cool. And like all Apple products, it's really like a compact, concise box there. And then basically it'll just slide out. So we'll just pull this open. Really stuck on there. Okay. So this is what it comes in. So here we'll just flip this around. So this is the actual iPad, which comes in like a outside sealed packaging to keep it safe. And then in the inside here you have designed by Apple in California. So in here they usually have an instruction manual and information. So that's what this is. Goes over the general features, but a lot of this you can find online. So that's that. Let's see what else is in here. They've got typical Apple stickers that you can put on your devices, which comes with most Apple products. And that's everything for what comes in that little insert. And then underneath here, you have your classic, you have your classic USB-C adapter and the cable that goes with it. And this is going to be USB-C to USB-C as well. One thing I did note is that I do have a Thunderbolt monitor. In discussing with the people at Apple, I believe only the Mac or the iPad Pro actually has a Thunderbolt port. So if you do have a Thunderbolt monitor, you can't really utilize that capability with this as far as sharing screens and stuff like that. But this will still connect to a Thunderbolt port or a USB-C monitor, so you can always output the iPad Air like a third monitor or double screen for that. And then underneath here, I don't think they have anything. That's all that's included for the insert in the box. I'm just going to put these back in there for now. And then here's the actual iPad Air. And so basically just peel this away. And this is what it looks like. So it looks exactly like an iPad. No issues there. I really like the fact that Apple products are pretty consistent across the board as far as their design and features. Like either way, and then it says iPad Air on the bottom here. Has a camera on the back port here. Has the Apple logo. This is the space gray version, and then there should be the power port is on here. Hopefully this thing's charged. Yeah, and so it turns right on. And this is the 11-inch model, so I really wanted something that was a little bit more smaller, more compact in the hands. I like the fact that the iPad Air is thinner design, so it's not bulky, it's very lightweight. You can hold it very easily. You can read it in different directions from that standpoint, so it's a nice aspect there. And then this is, there's only 18% battery, so we might go dead in here, but this is in Chinese, I guess. But walking through the installation here, or the steps here, basically hit English, United States. There's going to be a setup manual, so I'll go through this. I'll have to put my Wi-Fi, so give me 1 second. And then once you go through and link up to your Wi-Fi, it comes to that screen, which this screen basically said something like it might wait for some time. Data privacy, it's whether you want to share or not. There's a touch ID, so you can use your fingerprint on the top here. So basically it's like the iPad Air where you could lift your finger over multiple times and that gives you access, or the MacBook Pro does that, which is a nice feature. It allows you to get in and out of the computer very easily. So this is very similar to like the M1 MacBook Pro when it first came out, which is the current model that I have. But by doing that, now you can just use your fingerprint. Now you'll rotate and enroll an additional fingerprint for easily unlock. So basically now what they want you to do is rotate it 90 degrees so you're like on this landscape view, and then you can use your left finger here to do it that way. And this you just repeatedly press it over and over again. And that, and then it'll spread it out. Oop, cancel. It'll spread out over time, and that's very similar. And then create a passcode. I'm going to turn this off for a second. And then after you create your passcode, it'll come to this screen which says choose how you want to transfer apps and data to this iPad. You can restore from iCloud, restore from your Mac, transfer directly to iPad, move data from Android, or don't transfer. I currently don't really have iCloud set up. I never actually purchased that for my computer or my phone just because I never really backed up documents. But with the iPad now, I'm actually going to set that up now and go through that process. So I'll restore through here, and that'll allow me to transfer textbooks and other documents directly from my computer through the iCloud directly onto the iPad, which will be nice so that I can kind of work with different devices at the same time. I'm not really going to go through this process right now just to save time. So give me 1 second. Okay, so after that part, I walked through setting up the iCloud as well as Apple Pay, all those sorts of things. Couldn't show it on screen, obviously, for password protection and stuff like that. And then now it's going to set up like Siri, so it'll walk through that process at this point. Okay, and so now we're finally through all the setup. It was really setting up Siri and then kind of like the shared analytics and that sort of thing. But this is what it looks like as far as the screen. Basically, as a clock, notes, the calendar app. It's got like the weather here. It's got top stories from news. Has FaceTime, files, maps, reminders, your home screen, camera, app store, books, podcast, TV, news, settings. And then on the bottom, it's got a bar here for all your typical apps that you have. And then you can cycle through, and then they've got a bunch of others. So they've got weather, stocks, like your standard ones that come with it. So really, it functions very similar to an iPhone. It's just basically 11 inches as far as the size. This is 256 gigabytes, and it's Wi-Fi compatible. So you really can customize this however you want. And the nice part is it will sync up with your MacBook Pro or your phone through iCloud as well. So you can always take advantage of that to work on like different things. So for me personally, this is going to be mainly used as an e-reader and replacement as a replacement for books because I've accumulated a ton of books and they just take up a bunch of space, and I'm moving like soon, and I wanted to get rid of a bunch and just transition to this instead. Additionally, I have a lot of textbooks that I have to read for work purposes, and they do come as an ebook version, so that'll be nice because you can kind of scroll through it, annotate right on it as far as those apps as well. And then lastly, for me personally, I'm probably going to use this a little bit for art purposes, just to kind of mess with it, doodling and stuff like that, just for fun. But then also for the app, the YouTube kind of creation stuff, I found that looking into this, the iPad works very, very well for uploading video content, editing it, and that sort of thing. So that's something I'll have to mess with over time. But that's all I have for this video. This is just kind of like a general gist of the 5th generation iPad Air. I like the nature of it, the consistency, like the handheld aspect of it, that you can turn it. Its functionality is very seamless, like in iPhone, so it's very convenient from that standpoint. And the fact that it syncs with all your other apps or your devices is really convenient as well. So what I'll do is I'll mess with this over time for a little bit, get a general sense of it, customize it to what I need. Then later on, what we will do is I will do an unboxing of the Magic Keyboard that goes with this, which acts basically as a case as well as a keyboard. So you don't have to rely on the touch keyboard for typing purposes. And then also the Apple Pencil as well, which will allow you to annotate directly on this as well. So definitely check out that content. But hopefully this is helpful for those of you that are looking into this, looking at the different iPads and different options that are available at this time. But thanks for watching and have a great night.